to punish the opponent's mage for overdrawing. But if Firebat is aware of what Kolento's running, then he might be way more careful than I would otherwise be personally against another mage. So,
yeah, this is just amazing. I don't think anyone has ever seen this matchup unless you play Fatigue Mage a lot or you play Freeze Mage a lot. You generally won't have any experience either observing, playing, or casting this particular matchup. I mean, how often do you see Fatigue Mage or Freeze Mage on ladder even? Almost, like, they're almost non-existent. Maybe 1 out of every 100 games you see a Fatigue Mage, 1 out of 100 games you see a Freeze Mage, and that means 1 out of, like, 10,000 games you see a Freeze Mage
versus Fatigue Mage
on ladder.
Yeah, and the interesting thing right now is that the Death Lords in this deck, for those of you who might not be aware, are meant to drag out minions that are crucial to the opponent's strategy sometimes. And because you're a mage, the purpose of your deck is to answer them. You're able to get them out. Let's say, you know, Kolento, I mean, Firebat has an Alexstrasza on hand right now, right? So he is immune from the, you know, devastating Deathlord pull, because if a Deathlord pulls Alexstrasza before you're ready to battle cry it, it can sign off it can sign your death warrant at that point, because if you don't get that value you need to set up a really good burst, you're gonna lose the game. And so sometimes Deathlords can take out crucial cards like Alexstrasza or even an Archmage Antonidas if it comes too early and the opponent has a polymorph, for instance, which Male Mage tends to run, then that is even tougher.
Yeah, you mentioned Archmage Antonidas, and I feel, well, speaking of Archmage Antonidas, I feel like this is going to be the absolute key card in this matchup. How much value does Firebat get off this Archmage Antonidas will be the key determining factor on whether he wins this game or not, because typically the Fatigue Mage has a limited amount of heals. He has the 2 anti-heal bots, and he has the Alexstrasza, but nothing beyond that. So if you can somehow get enough fireballs to overwhelm all those heals, then you could be good to go.
Yeah, and right now, like, Firebat must be fairly happy because the Archmage Antonidas is not going to come out of the Death Lords. It's only going to be Acolytes of Pain, Mad Scientists, Loot Hoarders, and that's going to help him quite a bit. Oh wow, because could Kolento abuse this by forcing his opponent to overdraw?
It's certainly possible.
It is Mill Mage we're talking about.
If he draws something like a Cold Light Oracle and then he
Frost Novas into Blizzard,
he combines it with like a Cone of Cold or something. Yeah,
even Explosive Sheep.
Explosive Sheep would be pretty good as well.
You could probably justify running just the 2 Death Lords right now, because you are going to get at least 1 or 2 cards in your opponent's hand just off of them.
You could also justify
just ping. Ping every turn until the opponent can't draw anymore. And he has to start emptying his hand, which he just does not want to do.
One of the more interesting aspects about this matchup, I think, is that the freeze cards and the AoE clears are generally not that useful. They get kind of stuck in your hand, and you just kind of want to throw them out because usually you're not threatened by minions on the board, and you just want your freezes and you want your burns.
Yeah, you want to get those cards, like... It's like playing, you know, against Mildruid, for instance, where Mildruid, if you're a Freeze Mage, has many cards in their hand, but they have no answers. I mean, you have nothing to use your answers on because they don't play that many minions, and this is the exact same scenario. And I think Firebat's double Acolyte of Pain might prove to become a liability more so than a help. I mean, look at his hand size right now. He's sitting on 8 cards. If Kolento wants to abuse that, it's possible.
Yeah, this is really funny. He has to play a Doomsayer in order to clear his own board.
So do you try to play it a little goofy here if you're Kolento? Try to draw as many cards as possible for your opponent?
Let's see. Kolento, or Firebat right now has 8 cards in his hand, so you could overdraw by 1.
Could you actually Frostbolt ping the Doomsayer just to make sure that the Acolytes stay up?
Yeah, that's another possibility.
Yeah, because that way you're guaranteed that he can't just get rid of those.
You Frostbolt, and attack with your Death Lord.
With your Death Lord, yeah, and then ping an Acolyte.
Ping the other Acolyte.
Okay, Kolento's going to opt for a Blizzard to make his opponent draw. He's gonna try to keep his Frost Bolts for Archmage and Alex Straza is my guess at that point, or maybe for burn combinations.
Yeah, this is kind of like a combination play. He forces his opponent to overdraw, and at the same time, it gets rid of the awkward blizzards in his hand.
I don't know what he missed. I think it might have been the second Fireball.
It was an Ice Barrier and an Arcane Intellect.
Okay, I saw the first card, but I wasn't sure what it was. And even in this point, look at the Firebat's hand. I mean, if a Collateral Core is played, what do you do? I mean, you have to dump your hand, but what do you do? Do you just play a Flame Strike on an empty board?
Flame Strike on an empty board doesn't sound like a...
No,
a
it doesn't
terrible
sound
play.
good at all. I don't know.
Flame Strike right here. So much value here.
Oh, Firebat. He might be considering it, though. I mean, he might Blizzard and Explosive Sheep. That's 2 cards out of his hand.
I like Blizzard and Explosive Sheep the best for what he has in his hand right now.
He at least Explosive Sheeps,
Mhm.
it would seem. But then again, look at Kolento having to face down the Alex Straza Frostbolt Icelands.
Mhm.
Wow, Firebat is betting his opponent. Well, then again, Firebat's got all the combo pieces he wants at this point. Right? I feel like he does have what he wants already. He's got the Alex, the double Icelands.
You do, but at the same time, your opponent has double anti-Keelbot already in hand. Plus, he has an Echo of Medivh.
Wow, okay, no, this is too perfect. Double Frostbolt, Icelands, into Fireball.
He just needs to draw the he needs to draw another Frostbolt
Well, no, double Frostbolt,
he has
Icelands.
he needs to draw the Blood Mage Thanos for even more burn potential, I guess.
Yeah, over the course of a few turns, but if you go for the Frostbolt, Icelands, Fireball, you then have another Pyroblast. I mean, how much healing can a mage do, even with double anti-heal bot? I don't even think that's enough.
Well, double
calculate,
anti-heal bot
31,
plus
10.
Echo of Medivh could be enough.
Yeah, you're right. With the Echo of Medivh, I think things change. So he's gonna have to get some Fireballs off of Archmage first. Yeah, definitely the right play here by Firebat, noticing that he has to make sure that he's got enough reach in his hand over the course of multiple turns, and I believe he will have enough because Kolento's damage output is very, very minimal with this deck.
Yeah, Mind Control Tech, not a card you want in this matchup.
Yeah, at least not at the moment. What are you gonna do with that? There's no
also,
way.
There's also no polymorphs in Kolento's hand right now, so he can actually easily get rid of this Archmage Antonidas without using a lot of spells.
Yeah, this deck tends not to run Fireballs. You'll often see Fireballs cut from this deck for polymorphs. It's a thing that does happen frequently. I'm just not sure what Kolento's possible follow-ups are here. I mean, I guess you anti-kill bot and you try to kill that Archmage with everything you've got, but that buys you time. It doesn't really win you the game.
Your number one priority right here is definitely to kill off this Archmage Antonidas. You could also kill off to the Alexstrasza, but at the same time, you could freeze it as another option.
Exactly. Wow, he's not going to heal.
Yeah, I think not healing is alright, right? Is he dead? No, he's not dead.
Frostbolt, Icelands. Frostbolt, Fireball, that's 15. You're right, he's not dead. He's on 1 health.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a slight distinction we can make. Yeah, you're right, he's alive. By a small margin, but alive nonetheless.
But if Firebat brings Kolento down to 1 health...
There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way for him to heal enough back out of Pyroblast or double Fireball range next turn.
Yeah, he would need to top deck Alex Straza to bring himself up. Back to 15 straight up.
Is Firebat just gonna go for the Pyroblast?
I like the Pyroblast play better because if you force your opponent to Alex Straza, then you still have the Frostbolt, Fireball for instant lethal.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anti-kill bot. That brings up to 14. 14 is not enough, unfortunately.
No, it is not enough to live through the mage. Now, Firebat's hand was absolutely perfect to deal with with Kolento's deck. I feel like a lot of the time this might go differently, but having the Archmage and the Antonidas early guaranteed that he was going to be able to get the burst that he wanted.
Yeah, you mean the Archmage and the Alexstrasza.
Alexstrasza, yes, sorry.
Both of them, the key cards in this matchup, and they allowed Firebat to burst through the Fatigue Mage.
Not something you expect systematically. I feel like Fatigue Mage, because of the Death Lords, can really put a dent in the Freeze Mage's ability to actually get all the damage out. Because if you Death Lord out a key card, then he's done. As soon as you get rid of it, it's over.
I have to actually ask
as soon as you possibly can. I think that's a pretty good way to do it, because you've got the Ice Block in your hand already, so if you can get yourself either the other Ice Block right now, or the Ice Barrier, it's actually pretty fine. You're going to mitigate some damage from the Leopardome, which gives you even more time. And that Lothab, though, very important card in this matchup if it's played at the right time.
And unfortunately, the right time might just be turn 5.
Turn 5, yeah, based on the hand that we're looking at right now.
Usually, you get a choice of when to throw down your Lothab against Freeze Mage when you're playing other decks, but Hunter typically is just a deck that plays whatever it has on curve. And usually, the Lothab is the only 5-drop in Hunter decks these days. Sludge Belcher used to be fairly common, but we don't see it as much anymore. So I have a feeling Lothab turn 5, that's probably the play.
Young Dragonhawk from the web spinner for Kolento, and he finds the Undertaker, 2 turns too late now. I think he's going to have to wait for more Death Rattle minions to come up before he even considers dropping it down.
Now, does Firebat drop down the Acolyte of Pain, or does he play around Houndmaster?
He decides to ping it, and it's interesting because that means that Kolento has to figure out what the secret is still. The secret is Ice Barrier. We know from it, not because Ice Block could also be played. Alright, he'll figure it out right now. Huffer is going to make sure that Kolento gets that information. Alright, so he knows there's no Ice Block yet. That explosive sheep value.
Oh man, such explosive sheep value.
Huffer and an Undertaker. I don't think it gets... It could get better than that, but I mean, hell, I'm not going to complain. An unbuffed Undertaker, that's a gift you don't see come to your doorstep every day.
Well, Hunter, a mage who's playing against a Hunter and he's at effectively 30 HP. That's not something you typically see, so I bet Firebat is pretty happy.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Dr. Boom on curve again. Oh, you know what?
Again, yeah, it's Hunter, and it's such a strong curve going into the late game that Kolento still has a chance.
And there is no, board. Yeah, I mean, there's Holy Nova, right? Frost Nova right now to stall a little bit until the Flame Strikes can come down. So would you consider Frost Nova pinging something here just to try to set up something for the future turns? Because I guess Explosive Sheep, when it's played with High Main, can allow against High Main, can allow you to clean up the hyenas afterwards.
For this turn, I kind of like Frost Nova and the Explosive Sheep.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, it sets up for next turn. You can use the sheep to run into something, deal 1 damage, and then deal 2 extra damage to clear like the hyenas that come out of the high main.
All right. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense just to be able to do that. And with Dr. Boom, that value goes even higher, in a way. But it's so awkward.
Let's see what it is.
It is the ping on Acolyte.
Such a beauty play.
It's got to be Frost Nova right now. I mean, Firebat has to stop the 11 incoming damage. Nope, he just stopped 6. Actually, he could Frostbolt the other... I can't help but feel like Explosive Sheep is a really, really good card to develop sooner than later.
Oh,
Kolento making the right play.
Yeah, wow, just hero power, and you're gonna play it so slow.
Because the good thing about Dr. Boom is, and we've talked about this in other mage matchups, is that much like Leopardome is going to pop the Ice Block if your opponent kills it on their own turn as a freeze mage, this is pretty much the exact same scenario.
Oh my god.
This is a perfect Doomsayer turn.
Yeah, Firebat top decks 2 Doomsayers, in fact. He's only going to play 1 of them, but I don't think this Doomsayer can be dealt with.
Not right now, as far as we can tell, and no, in fact, it cannot.
No Owl is drawn from Kolento, so Kolento will just have to pass this turn with just a simple hero power.
That's a 2 damage hit, and he's gonna get 2 little 1/1 spiders, which won't do much in the grand scheme. Ah, nice card here for the other Doomsayer, and he also gets enough time finally to play his Ice Block. Firebat really getting a nice chance here at stabilizing. I mean, it's kind of weird because the mage was really high on health very late in the game at this point.
Yeah, Firebat can also just choose to play his Doomsayer right now, which forces his opponent to effectively skip his next turn. Yeah, pass 2 turns in a row. Is Doomsayer? No, Doomsayer is not gonna come down right now. The rationale is that there's a Blizzard to combo with the Doomsayer anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well do that.
I think that's the right way too. And I like Kolento's, he's being a little conservative with his cards, understandably, because he knows that if he overextends at any point, he could just get punished very severely. But now Firebat's going to take out the boom bots before it's going to pop his Ice Block and kill him. So this is a pretty good moment to Blizzard and get rid of those boom bots that could kill you otherwise later on.
Yeah,
actually, Fireball, Explosive Sheep. Yeah, you know what? I don't hate the Fireball and Boom, Explosive Sheep ping.
This move saves some of your burn though, and it also skips your opponent's next turn.
Again, skipping the opponent's next turn, Primordial. I see the guy have Flame Strike for the Dr. Boom in case it lives because a silence comes out, but none of that happens. It's just going to be a Hero Power Pass. Aha.
Oh, I guess Creeper can go down on the board, no problem.
I like how Kolento's keeping that Leper Gnome for the surprise. Hey, you can't wipe the board now.
Oh, more secrets coming down on the board. This game is so slow. Like, it's fairly atypical of Freeze Mage versus Hunter.
Yeah, but I think Kolento could play this somewhat passively and just Hero Power and win off of it, because that, unless he can mitigate the Ice Barrier, that might almost be a play.
Yeah, he needs to be able to essentially deal 8 damage to the Freeze Mage to justify popping this Ice Barrier. Does he think he can do that?
I don't know that he thinks so, considering the amount of board wipes that are present in a Freeze Mage deck. I'd feel a little awkward about that. I think maybe just playing everything but the Leper Gnome might be the way to go. I don't like playing Leper Gnome here. I feel like it's a mistake overall. He decides to do it and goes all in.
Does he attack though? That's the key. It's such a small decision, but it could just change the whole change the whole game.
But the thing is, I'm thinking to myself, if you're not attacking here, then why play the Leper Gnome? Because the Leper Gnome feels to me like a protection from clears, and that you're forcing your opponent to remove it on their own turn as Ice Block is about to pop. And playing Leper Gnome indicates that you want to pop the Ice Barrier is what I feel like. Oh, that Flame Strike is going to be perfect here for Firebat.
Perfect indeed. Now, Freeze Mages, they typically don't run any heals except Alexstrasza, so Firebat's just going to be trying to dig into his deck as much as possible for the Alex. Yeah,
definitely. He's going to have to find it just to make sure that he lives, unless Kolento wants to pop the Ice Barrier, which he's shown he does not want to do. So playing the Leper Gnome here seems like a play that's just aiming to get the Mage's health low enough that he can start hero powering it down to death.
Ice Block is a good draw, but...
An amazing draw, yeah.
Not what you need.
He doesn't need it immediately, but I feel like between Arcane Intellect and the time he has before the Ice Block gets popped... I mean, because the only way Kolento can pop the block at this point is through hero power. Because the moment he attacks, he gives too much effective health to Firebat.
Web Spinner, okay.
That could be interesting.
I think you play it, get King Crush, and...
win the game. Yeah, you're right. Pop the block. Mitigate the Ice Barrier. After all is said and done, you'll be able to do that. So here you Flame Strike the Web Spinner, obviously.
Obviously.
Just makes too much sense not to do. I don't know what he's thinking about here.
So pretty much Firebat's whole deck has been drawn at this point.
And this is usually when he either loses from fatigue damage or wins the game outright. And before Kolento plays Swipe and we just get mind blown. I mean, Flare.
Yeah.
And you just get mind blown completely.
Kazan Mystic.
Oh goodness.
All right. Oh,
King Mukla. Wow. Okay.
That can that burn any cards? Yeah, it burns one card.
Yeah.
And if that card is an Alexstrasza, which we know it can't be, it could be huge.
He's gonna have to at least try it, is my guess. And you play Juggler, Mukla, Unleash the Hounds, and then you Hero Power Face, and that's it. You don't even attack.
You might want to save the Unleash the Hounds, just because you want to be able to have a Beast activator for Kill Command. And plus, you don't want to attack in the face anyway, because you don't want to activate Ice Barrier.
Alright, so what does Firebat lose off of this? He loses a Blood Mage Thanos. I don't think that's a big problem.
Mostly irrelevant.
So if you Alexstrasza face, does he have lethal in the following turn? Actually, he does not. But Archmage Bananas, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I think Archmaging or Alexstraszaing face is his opponent's face rather is the correct play. It just you have another ice block as some protection, and plus you already have 2 fireballs. Wait, no, if he Alex's face.
The freezing trap is going to be the mad scientist.
Freezing trap is on the board.
Yeah.
Have both Frostbolts been used?
Yes, they've both been used, but it doesn't matter because the Alexstrasza is likely to stick around. And between the ping and the double fireball, you're going to win on a clock.
Yeah, I think there's no way that you won't have lethal in the next 2 turns, and you'll definitely have the next 2 turns unless your opponent has Flare to get rid of these secrets.
I think this was a bit of a mistake because now the only way for you to win is off of the hand. And you've given your opponent the ability to... Because if he kills a Mad Scientist, Alexstrasza gets sent back, so you can't use her with Fireballs. So you're essentially relying on a second Ice Lance to win you the game.
Well,
Double Unleash is not even bad here.
You can still just Fireball and ping all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the point where you double unleash. You don't need the activator for Kill Command anymore.
No, all you need is you need to kill that Mad Scientist so that Alexstrasza doesn't kill you. You have to at least remove that, and
Firebat, or rather Kolento, can even clear this whole board.
Yeah, he can. But do you really need to kill Alexstrasza? Because he can't replay it anyway. It doesn't matter. And those knife hits are absolutely horrendous for him. Wow. That's got to feel bad.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, right?
It's all about the hero power. Oh, wow. Wait. He has to kill the Mad Scientist. Please tell me he's killing the Mad Scientist. Yes, okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Good, that works. It was all about that Mad Scientist at least dying. Wow, okay, so the Hunter, actually, is he able to pull it off? Yeah, Fireball, Ice Block.
Yeah, Fireball, Ice Block,
and
maybe
then you win.
Ping.
Yeah, Ice Block, Ping. And then you win off of, Actually, do you win? You have to win with Fire Blast next turn, there's no winning. I think a good decision for Kolento here would be to try again with his Hunter, because I think he's favored in this matchup, regardless of what this might have looked like.
He just got a really slow draw, and his opponent got a really good draw. He didn't get his Undertakers, he didn't curve out well, while his opponent had Explosive Sheep, Mad Scientist, double Doomsayers later on to follow up, just the whole shebang.
Yeah, I think everything went in his favor here. In Firebat's favor, that is, as far as card draws and removal on curve. See, like that Leopardome, I still can't shake the feeling that it wasn't necessary. Like, if your opponent's really low on health and you force him to clear it, it becomes so much stronger.
Yeah, at that point, I think he just wanted to get as much power on the board, wanted to buff his Undertaker up, so I don't think it was necessarily bad. So
it wasn't a bad play, but...
We're getting word now that Kolento indeed will revive the Hunter. Basically, I feel like as the Mill Mage player, you allow your opponent to get that Archmage Antonidas combo too easily. Yeah, fortunately, there is Undertaker in the opening hand from Kolento, but unfortunately, Frostbolt is in the open hand for Firebat.
Yeah.
Oh, Frostbolt and Mad Scientist, that's so great.
I feel you don't even have to Frostbolt on the coin here. You're better off just like playing the Mad Scientist, and you might even get a ping. pin kill on the Undertaker. It feels a bit slower, but it's probably generally a bit better.
Yeah, if your opponent doesn't have any death rattles, it's going to be really awesome.
Alright, Kolento forcing Firebat to make the trade here by going face. And he's got more than a trade. He's got a Frostbolt.
Okay, not bad at all.
And this is actually really strong right now for Firebat.
Yeah,
and
Freeze Mage taking control of the board against Hunter, not something you see every day.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. And I think Freezing Trap is going to have to remedy that problem.
Yeah, you generally don't get any more value out of a Freezing Trap than against the Mad Scientist against Freeze Mage, so might as well, right?
Yeah, and if you deny them the Mad Scientist, that's even more time and effort they have to spend to get those ice blocks out. So it gives you some time to snowball out of control in a way.
Okay,
Acolyte of Pain. Playing around Snipe, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
And Ghostface and the Freezing Trap brings back the Mad Scientist to the hand, which I think is... I mean, that's going to slow down Kolento substantially because he has no ice block in play, nor in any near future.
Yeah, in this particular game, Kolento is able to develop some semblance of a board. And he's able to deal some damage to Firebat. At this point in the last game, Firebat was at about 26 health and 4 armor, so
yeah,
quite a big difference.
And interestingly enough, I think if Lotheb is drawn during this game, it could have a much, much bigger impact than it did last game.
Yeah, Lotheb was essentially played on an empty board last game. Oh, Stranglethorn Tiger, that's a very good card to have.
Yeah, it curves out perfectly here on 5 mana. He had no play right away, and this is going to be much better for him. Oh wow, that Knife Juggler is a liability, if anything. Sometimes I'm tempted to make my opponent overdraw, but it never works out the way that I expect it to.
Frost Nova could be very good here in combination with the Blizzard next turn.
Yeah, and I think the Acolytes of Pain are actually carrying Firebat really hard. One is fine and good, but 2 of them at once against a board that contains a Haunted Creeper is essentially a free ticket to infinite card draw, and I think Firebat is capitalizing on this perfectly.
We're going to see Frost Nova, and I would suspect the Blood Mage Thanos on the board just to buff up the Blizzard that we'll definitely see next turn.
Unless Unleash the Hounds comes out here, Oh wow. And you don't want to play anything else on this board. You know everything's about to blow up.
Yeah, double Knife Juggler.
Now your opponent has... Yeah, there's nothing here that you want to do. Well, you're going to let the opponent get all the card draw he wants off those Acolytes and the Blood Mage.
Blizzard.
I mean, you don't even have to. You have to Blizzard, but you don't... Do you really have to Blizzard, though? Think about it. What does that really accomplish? I feel like you could just Ice Barrier.
Yeah,
Ice Block,
I
Ice
agree.
Barrier.
Kolento didn't commit any more to the board, so Blizzarding doesn't do too much. You can essentially clear the board with just what you have with the Acolytes of Pain and the Blood Mage Thanos.
Yeah, you can then play the Mad Scientist if you want to and ping the... What's it called? The Mad Scientist of the opponent?
You just said Mad Scientist, and you're like, oh, what's that other card called that's on the field that looks exactly like the Mad Scientist?
What?
Right? You're like, oh, you can play the Mad Scientist, and you can also ping that other card that's on the field.
The Mad Scientist, yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I like that more than the Blizzard last turn.
Yeah, and he's gonna get a lot more value out of that Blizzard, and Kolento might be misreading the no Blizzard play for a, hey, I don't have any AoE right now, feel free to overextend.
Yeah, I like this play that Kolento's doing. He's playing the Knife Juggler instead of the Animal Companion, and that just, wow, great juggle.
That puts his opponent on 10 cards actually right now.
Yeah, and also it allows you to fit a hero power in, which is what you want against Freeze Mage. You just want to get a hero power in every single turn in order to deal that 2 damage and just accumulate it.
Yeah, like just getting that, weaving in that extra 2 damage every time is a huge deal. And even though it seemed to be looking super good for Firebat, I feel like if Kolento manages to break that first ice block, it's gonna get a little tougher down the line for Firebat. I mean, oh, Well, I mean, that won't trigger anytime soon.
That will never trigger pretty much. Ooh, Huffer. Always Huffer. To the face.
Same reasoning as before, weaving in that hero power much better than developing Dr. Boom in this specific case. And no ice block pop, though. No ice block pop. And you know, the Dr. Boom is going to cause exactly what I said earlier. The situation where you can't wipe the board when it's there because you're going to kill yourself off of it.
There's actually no easy way to deal with this Huffer, right?
No, none that I can see. Like, they're all subpar in many ways.
Oh, Ice Barrier is interesting. Ice Barrier basically...
You have to Ice Lance Huffer, though, to make sure that it dies and your opponent cannot commit anymore to the board. Did Firebat just pass without hero powering? Yes, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
I
guess... oh, well... Is that just pretty much game over?
You know what I think you do? You just Dr. Boom here. You Dr. Boom and you win the game. The game is... What?
No, what?
No, you would have triggered the secret and then the Boom Boss died and he took it to the face and he died.
Oh, it's a great point.
What? Kolento! No! Oh no, Kolento! What are you doing?
Yeah, that was strange.
I guess I'm the only idiot who does that kind of stuff then.
Well, maybe you're not an idiot after all. Maybe you're the smartest guy in the room. But yeah, now Kolento, or rather Firebat, he just wins.
Yeah. But then again, he can't attack into the explosive trap because he dies.
Oh, that's true.
I think that's what Kolento was counting on after all. But, I mean, he could just Ice Block and think face and trade with Lotheb and then double Fireball Frostbolt for the win.
He's also wary of a freezing trap on this turn. He's not really sure what the secret is.
You can't play into explosive. I think you have to hope for a Frostbolt top deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I would even venture to play the explosive sheep after the ice block.
Just to play around freezing trap, you mean?
Yeah. Well, it's not really gonna help at all because you're... Oh, wow. Okay, this is a good game. Uh-oh.
Yeah, the thing is, not many players run explosive trap. And
yeah. Kolento got the win here off of the explosive trap, and that is a really nice play. I think he could have won off Dr. Boom, but I think he saw the guaranteed win over the course of a few turns with that explosive trap, so he didn't bother with that play. Mm-hmm. So very well done here.
Wow, Firebat, like, I thought he would have a big reaction to that, but he was pretty much reactionless.
Firebat does not react. He used to, and somehow, at some point during his Hearthstone live against Hunter again from Kolento.
Yeah. Third time in a row.
Yep, third time in a row. It's kind of interesting because they both revived the deck they lost with. So this is going to be the last of them. Whichever deck loses now is not going to be able to be revived. So this is going to be the last that we're going to see of either of these decks. And yeah, I just wonder what kind of hand. I mean, right now Firebat's hand is a really weak one.
Yeah, Kolento, even though he missed his turn 1 play, I still feel his hand is pretty good overall. He has good drops, and he also has a key Ironbeak Owl in order to silence cards such as Doomsayer or even like an Explosive Sheep if Firebat wants to play it just straight up on the board. Yeah, passively.
So, well, Knife Turtle is going to come down from Kolento. I think that is going to force a Frostbolt from Firebat.
Probably the best target to Frostbolt anyway, so Firebat can't be too unhappy about that. But at the same time, unlike some of the other games, he hasn't drawn into some of his early games, such as the Explosive Sheep, such as the Mad Scientist.
Yeah, and speaking of early game, Kolento gets his Undertaker draw, followed by Mad Scientist. Now, the Frostbolt being the best target, you know, naturally being the best target is not entirely true when you look at something like this. You wish you still had a Frostbolt right now.
Yeah. Not really anything Firebat can do to this board right now, so he'll be forced to draw some cards. And unfortunately, 3 of the secrets. That's what a terrible draw from Firebat.
I think this is the worst draw because what that means is that you have to spend full mana cost on them as opposed to playing them through quote-unquote, playing them through Mad Scientist. So now not only are his secrets going to cost him a lot, but Mad Scientists are almost dead cards.
Again, nothing in Firebat's hand that he can do. An Ice Barrier is okay, it stems 8 damage, but you really want to do something at least about this Undertaker.
Yeah, and there's, at the moment, nothing he can do, and it's soon out of range of anything but Fireball. I mean, I think he's going to try to set up a Fireball next turn for it. I mean, this is I can't believe I'm gonna say that, but he's gonna be fireballing a 1-drop.
Oh, Animal Companion. Anything but Misha would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Leok is amazing, Huffer is amazing. I think you could even take Misha right now, because the worst you might see is like a Blizzard that gets coined out, and you're still happy about it.
Huffer? Huffer, I'd say, is actually a little worse than Misha. It adds 1 more damage to the board, but it's also slightly weaker to Blizzard, for instance.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like maybe Misha or Leok would have been slightly better, because Misha would have dealt damage over the course of a few turns, and you would have been better off. So, I mean, Firebat's, even if he Blizzards here, even if he does, how much, like, I mean, he spawns 2 little 1/1s, Undertaker's not dead, and a trap comes out.
Yeah,
Like, oh, wow.
You even have a Doctor Doom, Marvel trademark. Marvel trademark. A Doctor Boom to follow up on turn 7.
Yeah, which is essentially a protection against board wipes when the opponent's so low on health. And I mean, it's not like he's got another board wipe anyway. Wow, Firebat's hand. Oh, Explosive Sheep.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, do you play your Mad Scientist alongside it though? I don't think you have to. Whoa. Wait. What? No. That can't be right.
Firebat's reasoning is that he can take the 5 or more damage.
Okay. So he's just gonna try to get more value out of it and stall through Ice Barrier?
Yeah, this is fair. He's getting more value out of the Explosive Sheeps. Unfortunately, that Undertaker is gonna be buffed to a 5 attack creature.
Yeah, unmanageably high actually. I mean, it becomes a 5/4 right now. Those 1/1s are gonna trigger it, but I mean, it's not really a problem. He almost completely shears through that Ice Barrier. It's only got 1 armor left over, and now Firebat is forced in a position where Explosive Sheep has to be played.
Yeah, no freezes at all in Firebat's hand except for Ice Lance.
Yeah.
Do you really want to Ice Lance a Doctor Boom?
Do you really have the choice, though? I think that's the bigger question, really. Could you Acolyte of Pain? Could you justify Acolyte of Painting? Or Mad Scientisting to make sure a secret comes out? Because, I mean, you still have an Ice Block in your deck, so if you Mad Scientist and Ping, you're guaranteed to get it out.
If you do that, though, you're pretty much automatically taking 7 damage from Dr. Boom.
Yeah, you're right, because you can't Ice Lance it. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, wow. Did that just happen?
Wait, was that double 4?
Yeah, I think it was. It was 3/4 or 4/4. That is insane.
My
and
apologies.
Kolento apologizes. And yeah, I think we're about to witness the beginning of a long-term crusade from Firebat to get Dr. Boom fixed. This is incredibly frustrating. 8 damage.
Are we gonna see 2 Ice Lances to these creatures?
Iron Beak Owl seals the game here, silencing out the Dr. Boom's freeze into hero power, and this is over. Wow.
Even without the Iron Beak Owl, was that lethal? It barely wasn't.
Yeah.
It barely wasn't, but yeah, this is fine. This is good enough.
This is excruciating. Losing a game to Boombots? Oh goodness, Firebat must be feeling so bad about this outcome. And he even has, pretty good tech cards against aggro, so I feel like his choice of deck, after the discussion we had before the game, was pretty much on the spot. He had, double Explosive Sheep, feels like he's got a pretty good way to deal with it, with the Mad Scientist, and...
Because Firebat actually didn't choose his own Hunter into Kolento's Hunter, so I have a feeling that he thinks his Hunter has a less than 50% chance to win, and I agree with that assessment, just simply because of the card choice Kolento has the choices that Kolento has put into his deck. For example, key cards such as Leper Gnome, Glaive Zuka, Explosive Trap, and Double Unleash the Hound are all cards that are very good in the Hunter Mirror, but maybe less so in other matchups. The Leper Gnome, Kolento uses Leper Gnome, and I believe Firebat is going to run Clockwork Gnome. That's a very stark difference, but it's also a very key one. I believe in this matchup in particular, the 2 extra damage that the Leper Gnome gives you is way more valuable than the potentially game-changing spare part that the Clockwork Gnome could give you.
Yeah, it brings flashbacks of the hyper-aggressive hunters that used to just, they used to run Leper Gnomes and whatnot with hyper-aggressive charge minions. And Glaive Zuka and Leper Gnome remind me of that because it always came down to, was my opponent running Leper Gnomes? Back when it was all about the 1-mana flares and you were fighting over for those secrets. The Leper Gnomes, when you saw it come down, you told yourself, if you weren't running Leper Gnomes, oh well, this is over. I'm gonna take way too much damage, and this is kind of a similar situation.
Yeah, we just see the value of Leper Gnomes and also curving out from Kolento. Kolento has a better deck in this matchup, and he also has the better opening start, unfortunately, for Firebat. Firebat didn't draw any 1-drops in his opening hand, and even with the coin, he didn't have any good plays.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a very sturdy mid-game / late game, but he has to get there. And the King of Beasts, oddly enough, in Kolento's hand that came from the Web Spinner, it's a pretty decent way to stop counter aggression if it comes to that on Firebat's side.
Yeah, typically not what you want to see in other matchups, but yeah, the King of Beasts, it's got somewhat like a Sludge Belcher even, usually just a 2/5, but a 2/5 taunt is very worthwhile. The 2/5, in fact, it can trade with most of the early game minions that Hunter can put out, such as this Knife Juggler, such as this Clockwork Gnome, and such as this Web Spinner that are all about to come out.
Yeah, I think it's a 2/6 baseline, but it gets improved for the Beast we've got. It's not like it matters much anyway. It's like a substantially worse Fen Creeper in a way. And now we're looking at Firebat's health roll at 15 versus Kolento's 29. I mean, Hunter matchups are all about racing. And right now, it feels like, I mean, Kolento's winning this one, this race pretty heavily. So, I mean, you can Loatheb here to secure the board state and force your opponent into a defensive position.
Yeah, you essentially have, well, two of your main choices are King of Beasts or Loatheb, and I think Loatheb is what you want to go for right now, simply because you are winning that race right now. And even though the King of Beasts has taunt, this Loatheb kind of has pseudo taunt. Because you just can't let this Loatheb live. If this Loatheb lives, it just does 5 to your face, and you're gonna be dead in 1 or 2 turns.
Yeah, there's 5 again, from Hero Power and the Eagle Horn Bow, so it's really just a matter. I think Firebat is gonna try to get a Silverback Patriarch here, the most powerful card in Hearthstone, obviously.
Even more powerful than King of Beasts.
Don't get me started on King of Beasts. So I think Firebat will be forced into trading away, because I mean Loatheb plus Eagle Horn Bow, especially now that it has another charge and Hero Power, that's 10 damage. So that's 15 damage over the course of 3 turns. So
face tanking it just doesn't seem like a great option.
If you had a
well, he's considering it. No, I think you just trade right now. Like taking 5 to your face, you're at 10, and yeah, that bow and that Hero Power, those can just kill you right there and then.
Oh yeah, on 2 turns. And Kolento just realizes, hey, he's on less than half health. I just have to go face. And like the good hunter that he is, he just goes face, and Savannah Hyman comes down. The ultimate 6-drop. At least there's a freezing trap on Firebat's hand to be able to, stop some of the damage output that's coming in.
I mean, there's a freezing trap, but there's also an Unleash the Hounds in Kolento's hand, which completely negates that freezing trap altogether.
Yeah, there's nothing here that's going to... Wow. So is that just lethal straight up for Kolento?
3 mana Web Spinner.
The game is over, I think. Off of the freezing trap just not functioning. Firebat trying to bluff an explosive trap.
Yeah, yeah, he might just be like pointing to the high main and saying that like I might have Hunter's Mark. Oh, he actually uses it. Okay, so he's like really selling that explosive trap right now.
And I don't know if Kolento's gonna buy it, because either way he still has he could just play Unleash and attack a minion. It won't trigger explosive trap if it is explosive trap, and he'll be checking for freezing trap at the same time.
Yeah, if it is explosive trap, then he can kind of just trade into the Loatheb and still get pretty good value. But yeah, he unleashes the Hounds, and freezing trap is sent. Freezing trap sends back a Hound, and Kolento is lethal.
Wow, welcome to Hunterland, ladies and gentlemen, where bad draws are punished more severely than anywhere else in Hearthstone. I don't think there's a single matchup that punishes bad draws more than Hunter mirror matches. I've never seen a match, because it's all about racing, right? More so than other zoos even. Like, for instance, a zoo mirror match. It's not even always about those openings as badly as it is in mirror match Hunter. So I feel like this is one of those unique situations where your first fight, this could escalate much faster than he's prepared for.
And that hand from Firebat, that's pretty disgusting.
He's got a consecration at least. That's one positive thing, and he doesn't have to deal with Undertakers.
Yeah. I guess he also has the Wild Pyro coin, but it just overall it seems so slow.
Yeah, we have seen better. We have seen much better Paladin hands in the past, especially for situations like these. I think his turn. I mean, you can't. Oh, okay. This might change things. Back-to-back consecration might actually be able to improve his win rate here in general.
Okay, I guess. What do you do? Okay, equip the bow. Fair enough.
Yep, not worried about Harrison Jones just yet, rightfully so. Firebat is getting more and more late game stuff. That is not at all what he wants to see. And he's gonna keep that coin with that Wild Pyro to be able to get the ultimate board wipe.
Yeah, this is definitely not what you want to see as Firebat. You're playing it slow and you're just hero powering it every turn, but if you're not using your cards, then you give your opponent so much tempo. Like, Kolento has played 4 cards already, Firebat has played none.
Yeah, and actually that Deathlord here might equalize things because it's going to stop some of the aggression that will come out. There is a kill command to deal with it. There is an Eagle Horn build to follow it up with. And I guess at that point it all depends on what Kolento gets from the Deathlord. Because Firebat has a really nice turn 5 with Wild Pyro Coin Consecration, which deals with absolutely anything that is played in the immediate sense. So I think if Firebat manages to hold on for the next 2 turns, then this could turn in his favor very often here.
This, of course, is like a pre-GVG Paladin, so it reminds me a lot of pre-GVG Paladin versus Hunter, where you can't really stop the early game aggression, but you have to stall it out to the mid game, where you can get these big swings such as a Wild Pyromancer, Coin, Consecration, or just straight up a quality Consecration.
Yeah, I think Firebat would love to get a Humility right now because that would allow him to get an extra trigger. He would have loved maybe to get an not an equality, but a Humility, just to negate some of the damage that might come out from Savannah High mains. Like if those are played as a follow-up. So let's see what Kolento gets. He gets Undertaker, not what he wants to see, but it's not too bad.
I mean, Kolento has 2 of his biggest minions already in his hand right now, so it's very unlikely that he would get something like a Savannah High main.
Yeah, the odds are pretty slim, but I mean, oh wow. Firebat just drawing completely dry. I mean, he's got a perfect board wipe here. He's gonna hope for that Doomsayer more than he's ever hoped for a Doomsayer in his life.
Yeah, after this board clear, there's not much that Firebat can do against the Savannah High main. After this board clear, he'll have to top deck an Aldor or Humility, or he's gonna take another 6 damage to the face. Yeah,
followed up by Dr. Boom. That is devastating. Maybe a taunt would help a little bit, but whoa, is he considering not having the Wild Pyro die to the coin?
I think you're just like you're gonna be able to do 3 damage to this Piloted Treader anyway.
Regardless, so he doesn't have to trigger it.
This is better unless the minion out of the Piloted Treader has 1 mana or has 1 health rather.
Yeah, it's generally much better though.
Let's see what it is.
All right, if it's a Millhouse Metastorm, we're gonna cry. It is a 3/2 Recombobulator. Very, it's an average pick here. I guess that's what you would expect. And I think Kolento can just safely ignore the Wild Pyro because he's got Freezing Trap.
Yeah.
I mean, what is you gonna do here?
And also, like, you're not playing against Priest, so you like Paladin. You don't expect a lot of like cheap spells. Basically, you have your Humility, you have your Equality, but generally nothing else is that good.
Now we're looking at a Freezing Trap denying Firebat the tempo he needs, and that means Kolento's got, you know, lethal next turn, so Firebat can't even develop a board any further. He has to consecrate a 3/2 off the board and leave it at that. Is there any way for Firebat to really stabilize? I mean, even an anti-heal bot doesn't seem like it would do it.
He basically needs to draw
quality.
Draw a quality, clear the board, and then heal. Hope his opponent draws dead for the next 2 or 3 turns.
No, but the boom bots are gonna kill him, right?
Oh.
Yeah, the boom bots are gonna kill him.
Not only, even if they don't kill him, then
Hero Power will.
Hero Power will. The hyenas will. Firebat knows he's dead, and with
he doesn't even try. Oh wow.
Kolento is your Kinguin for Charity Winter 2015 champion.
Well, that was a really convincing streak of wins against Firebat. I think games would be a lot more less polarized, I guess, or less one-sided. But that was really the strength of Hunter just showing up. I think after that first win against Firebat's Mage,